Uh, Hi, Nikki. Good evening. Great you've made it to
Good.
this webinar. Um, uh, yeah, let's dive right into it. One of the things you're on here for the second time, and I
Mhm.
am so curious. Maybe we can start up this webinar speaking about the wild north uh, that you explored. But first, about yourself. Uh, what was what was your how did you and when did you get into paragliding? Because you seem to be, or you are a very, very experienced pilot. I mean, you're like, you have a school, you do tandem flights, you do XCs and everything.
So you need to be a little bit crazy. I don't know many normal paragliding pilots, uh, but the background is like this. My father was guiding people in the mountains, not professionally, but like as a hobby, but properly guiding groups and all these things. My grandfather was also a mountain guide. I also became a mountain guide, but more importantly, since I was maybe 3, 4 years old, I was always in the mountains, even if I was living in a flatland place. In Bulgaria, we also say that mountains give birth to people and flatlands give birth to pumpkins. So I was going to the mountains very much, and they were like in the beginning, I was complaining, hiking, all these things, but then they become part of my nature. And when I saw the paragliders, I was trying some parachutism. My cousin wanted to do, but I didn't have the years to this. So when I saw the first paragliders, I knew immediately that this is my thing. This is my continuation of my trips in the mountains. When I was still hiking the mountains, every time I climb a new summit, the panorama opens and tells me come. And then there is this call from the panorama, which is telling me come, come. And the paraglider made it possible to continue into the void. And in the first years, I started first, I went to something like a course, but actually on this course, it was for maybe a few minutes. They showed me how to attach the paraglider and how to run on flat ground. And I made it only once. And then I told the instructor to give me this equipment. So I continued practicing on the ground, but then I took it and I climbed to the top of the mountain in Sopot. And I made my first flight from the top of the mountain without knowing how to land, about wind directions or anything. I was lucky to survive these first years, and then I went deeper in it. I fell in love with the paragliding, and maybe almost 30 years, this is my life now. Paragliding.
Okay.
I'm not interested in anything else, just paragliding.
Wow. At what age did you, at what age was your first flight?
I think 22. Yeah, it was in 22. It was in 96. Was my first
96.
flight
Wow.
in November. Yeah,
Okay.
and then in 97, I was just finishing the Air Force School, graduating as avionic engineer, and I bought my first wing, uh, third hand competition wing. I didn't want to waste time with intermediate models. I just wanted to fly with the best. So I was lucky to survive with this Nova Sphinx glider, being set with thunderstorm, having some stalls and whatever. But generally, I was lucky. And later, I degraded myself to a little bit safer wing. And the first 2 years, I flew without helmet and without rescue parachute because I couldn't afford them. The equipment then was very, very expensive compared to now it's more easily available. But yeah, as I said, I was looking as a self-taught, and now then when I finished with the army, they closed the air base where I was working. Instead of going to Canada, I decided to stay in Bulgaria and to jump to Sopot and start this paragliding school. It was difficult in the beginning, as every beginning, but then it worked out, and I still love it. The paragliding, the teaching, flying itself. The more I
Yeah.
give to flying, the more it gives back to me. So it's like a perpetual mobile until the end of my life, giving and taking, giving and taking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I just wanted to say thank you for also publishing many things on your website, many articles, and so you have some very interesting things that you've put out there.
Yeah, even at the moment, I started writing a book about paragliding meteorology. Maybe I made already 20 pages. I don't know how much free time I'll have. But yeah, I don't know when I'll finish it, but it's on the list. I work on it.
Okay, okay. Um, okay, and okay, we'll jump right into this now. There's a brief introduction. What made you what motivated you to fly the north? I think you done it before last year or something, or
Yeah,
you were.
2 years ago we did another exploration to the north. We flew Ololokwe again, and then we had very nice flying. Maybe later I'll show you some photos, some slideshows of Lysamis. There's one ridge before Maralao, and we had a flight to Gurunit, a very beautiful village with beautiful mountains there. Uh, Generally, the call for the north is that I want to go to the next level of difficulty, let's say in paragliding, because if you just stay in your comfort zone, you stop learning. But if you start increasing the the elements, then the real flight comes. For example, Kenny is very good for this. I had some flights before across Amboseli or some wildlife areas where you have to be good at paragliding, otherwise the lions down there can eat you. And you don't know what will happen. So by adding more dangers, let's say, you're artificially pushing yourself to develop. Of course, maybe I'm exaggerating the risk because the lions are sleeping during the day when it's hot, and you can always find some Maasai hut to look for shelter. But still, I like adding more elements of adventure. I like exploring new places, and this is the reason I'm in Kenya, in Africa, in Ethiopia, because I'm testing my meteorological knowledge, my flying skills in real situations. I'm not interested to go to fly in the Alps, for example, where everything is proven, checked, recorded. But I like to explore new places, to find new takeoffs, to socialize with local people, to sweat with local people, climbing hills, clearing bushes. It's a full adventure around the paragliding. Paragliding turns a very small part of the adventure. Still, this is the core, but there are so many other elements with riding which make you appreciate life better. So North Kenya is one level more of risk because there are no landings. There is a carpet of acacia trees. Of course, you won't die. They are not so tall. But if you land on them, probably your glider will be badly damaged. So especially when we did the Lysamis flight, and even with Ololokwe, you're really like you have one more restriction. Not only finding the thermals, finding the good wind, but also keeping a certain range, gliding range from a landing possibility. And when we speak about landing, in the case of Ololokwe, it's landing on the road. In some places in Lysamis, further north in Gurunit, the most distant landings are the dry riverbeds. So you're really, really restricted with your decisions, with your possibilities because of lack of landings. And it's like there is one joke. One guy was hitting his fingers with a hammer, and another guy was asking him, "Hey man, isn't it painful? Doesn't it hurt you?" And the guy said, "Yeah, but do you know how good I feel when I miss to hit my finger?" So maybe there is some masochism in these explorations in going to the north, and it's becoming addictive. Like you survive so many difficulties that then you want more and more of this. And here, when I speak about difficulties, it's not so much life-threatening risks. It's mostly logistical problems, like landing in the bush, walking for 2 days without water, or damaging your wing, or maybe you get some scratches or something like this. So it's not that risky for life. It's mostly logistical. That's why you have to be tough. You have to. This experience I have from the mountains. Once I made a hiking trip in Bulgaria, hiking across the mountain for 20 days. I made 1,000 kilometers, and this is like giving you strength that if you go in some situation, you should be able to manage it.
Mm. And how
But
do you
not for every.
oh pardon?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go
And
go.
sorry, I was interrupting you. I just wanted to ask you, how do you prepare for a trip where you know there'll be hardship? Like, do you take like do you have some sort of uh, uh, food? Like what food do you take? Do you say, okay, I'm going to take 5 liters of water or 10 liters of water, or do you have some sort of uh, a way of preparing and knowing that, okay, this is going to be hard. I'm going to take this with me,
Yeah,
or how do you do it, or you
yeah.
just go naked?
The first years when I was coming to Africa, I didn't know what to expect. Uh, there was even barely internet information about things here. So I was taking, some craftsman made me a special knife which I can turn into a spear to protect myself from the hyenas. I was taking water filter and, watching too much survival movies. But at the end, I just have one pocket knife. I have a pepper spray for any case, like for hyenas or something. And I don't carry so much water, like maybe a liter and a half, because I think within maybe I can survive 1 2 days without water. The distances are not so big. I also research where I'm going, and I expect how much kilometers I need to walk, for example, if I like here or there. So it's minimum, just one pocket knife, some ripstop, some spare lines, a little bit of water, the pepper spray eventually for the trainers, and that's it. Maybe if I go to more wild terrains, I may take also a hammock, but actually uh, it's not so much needed because you can use your harness. You can climb some tree and use your harness as a hammock to sleep above the wildlife below. So yeah, good shoes, long trousers, sleeves, like in Ololokwe. I read somewhere that there are mambas there. I didn't see them, but you never know.
Mm,
You just have to watch where you're stepping, where you're going. So not so much equipment, but just careful approach.
okay. And then my question before we dive into the flight, uh, how
Mhm.
did you travel to the takeoff? Like, what was your like you came from Nairobi and then you went yeah to
Yeah, this time for this particular flight, I was living in Naivasha with my family. And because the time was limited and we were planning to do this exploration with Yasin, uh, and because we were thinking to be a bigger group, but then some other people didn't come, and we couldn't afford uh, a car to rent a vehicle to go there. Then we decided to do it with public transport, which is a little bit crazy if you know the terrain of Kenya. But it worked, and I'm very happy with it. Like I took the matatu from Naivasha to Nyahururu, then from Nyahururu to uh, uh, mm, what was this? The British base, then to Isiolo. I was changing three matatus to arrive in Isiolo, where I met my friend Yasin, who was coming from Nairobi with another bus. And then the next day we took a taxi to Ololokwe because the local there is almost no traffic on these roads. We were thinking to catch some bus or whatever, but simply there was not so much traffic. So We took this car to Ololokwe, then we hiked Ololokwe. Then I made the flight. My friend Yasin was not in a good shape, so he didn't flew. But I made the flight. I managed to cross this big area of wild terrain and reach the Maralao roll, the next tarmac roll. And when I landed at Maralao, I was thinking to go back to Maralao to do some more explorations there, using maybe some motorbike guys or something like this. I was having some more possible takeoffs in mind. But the Matatu which reached my motorbike was going back to Nyahururu, and then I can take a car to Naivasha. So I decided, let's go back home. So it was very efficient 2-day journey with public transport and one big flight to the North Kenya.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Interesting. And now let's dive into the flight. Maybe you can show us with Leonardo. You have it on. Yeah. Okay.
Switching.
Okay. And you took off. You hiked up Ololokwe or something.
Yeah, we hiked to Ololokwe. Let me show you on Google Earth as well. Okay, so before Ololokwe, there is another hill here, which I think we will also deliver takeoffs. There is one part here, but maybe in future when I visit again the place, I will do specific check because it's much closer to the road. 2 years ago, when we explored Ololokwe, we took this road and we went to one camp here, Sabache camp.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a kind of mistake because when you go there, they start explaining you this is conservancy, you have to pay. So if somebody else wants to go to this place here, I suggest he skips this camp and he drives here. There is one dry river bed. He passes this one, and then he takes the dirt road which is going up to Dampera. Sorry. Okay, I'll continue. So we took the car here. We actually made a mistake. We took the car here, so we walked along the dirt road. Here there was one Samburu guy. When he sees us, he says, police, money. He started begging, but of course, why should we give him? So this is also something I want to appeal to other paragliding pilots. You know the trips which Sean is doing with Chris and others with the helicopter. I'm doing the opposite thing of just approaching the things from the ground, hiking and whatever. So I'm a little bit afraid that the helicopter paragliding pilots may make these places expensive and unaffordable for other paragliding pilots. Of course, they're doing a good job because they're donating money for building schools and other things, but somehow the locals may start treating all the paragliding pilots as people with a lot of money who should give and give and give, and this can really damage the paragliding development. That's why I would prefer we not to give too much to the locals, but still somehow cooperate with them, but not just show some excessive generosity and spoil the paragliding for the others. We're taking so much risks with these flights here, especially when we are exploring, that they should pay me, not I should pay them, because I'm opening new places, which in future they can benefit. So for this place here, when we start hiking, it was pretty hot, very tough for hiking, maybe temperatures of 35 or something. We were sweating very much. There is one rock here. 2 years ago, we were taking off from here next to the antenna. There is one rock here, which I think it's better, but the problem of this rock here is that there are some scales, some pieces from the rock which are catching the lines and very easily cut them. The place where I took off here, also this year, it was also fine, but a little bit tricky, not for, even for me was difficult. I think down here below the first rock, another takeoff can be clear. So the place needs maybe half a day of work to have a proper, better takeoff.
I wanted to
Other
interrupt you
options
here.
are to...
Nikki, I just wanted to say
Yeah.
I've once driven up there with a 4x4 Land Cruiser pickup. I nearly broke the car, but I got right up to that station, that telecom station at the top. So
now the road is better. It's kind of repaired. Maybe it was after some rains or something. I also remember it being in a poor condition 2 years ago. But now it's kind of drivable even with a more normal car, just a high car. Other place which I would try is when you reach here the saddle. I think you can come on this part here, and somewhere here, maybe with a little bit of clearing, there might be another takeoff. This one is 300 meters. This one is 500 meters. No need to bother with the bigger mountain behind, the proper Ololokwe. First, because you have to pay. And second, the good thermals are on the upwind side here. Here you are behind the good stuff. So these little hills before the big mountain are giving you more safety in terms of winds. And there are also plenty of thermals. So no need to bother for a very tiring climb. And when you fly here, you still can enjoy the beauty of the Ololokwe rocks here. So I can show you some picture of the flight. Just a moment. So you can see how I took off here. I was immediately into a thermal. I'll show you also photos from the flight. I climbed up. I was searching around. There was a cloud street starting from here, but unfortunately it was finishing somewhere here, and I was going somewhere away from roads. Like the idea of this flight was to keep next to one road, which is going to the village of Wamba. But if I fly more south and follow this cloud street out of Ololokwe, I'm completely away from the only road around. And that's why I've chosen this line. I could have flown also to Namunyak mountain, but I decided to risk and go directly here, still keeping close to this road. And I was always keeping like one glide away. The road was more north of me, but I was keeping a glide and a half, 2 glides away. So even if I bomb out, I still can hike maybe 5-10 kilometers until I reach this road. The bad thing is that all the time when I flew here, I saw 0 cars. 0. Like in Isiolo, they say there is some minibus going to Wamba, but I didn't see any car. Maybe for 2 hours I was in the area. So I don't know what would be the retrieve. Next time I'll try to organize a bigger group and to have a retrieve car, because this flight was a little bit risky and lucky. If you land here into the bush, of course there are some Buru people here, you can find where to sleep, but you have pretty big distance of hiking. So the Wamba road goes like this. Then I intersect it again, and then it goes to Kisima and to Maralau. So I was very conservative with my flight, flying very slowly, catching something. Luckily, the winds were not strong, too strong, so I can explore upwind, crosswind. I was having a lot of opportunities, and conditions are also very generous. They allow me to have good flights. So by keeping close to this road with no cars, I reached the vicinity of the proper tarmac road to Maralau. It's also pretty empty of cars. I saw maybe when I was in the vicinity, maybe 2-3 cars here. So there is also not so much traffic here. And here I made some mistake. It was possible there were some more cloud streets, and it was possible to make it even to Baringo Lake. But for future flight, because I was doing these flights from Iten via Cabernet down to Nakuru, south of Baringo are the better cumulus clouds. So maybe in future I will take more southern line, which will risk me away from roads here and maybe here over these conservancies. But then I saw there are some clouds which are going to, and here I was catching these cloud streets coming from the highlands, which can bring me to Nakuru. So I think flights to Nakuru would be possible from this place. You can see some data of the flight, like the highest was at the end of the flight, 3,800. Conditions were smooth, no problems, no drama, not some special turbulence. The speeds I was flying were not so high. I can show you on Google Earth again the terrains I was doing. Yeah, so from the takeoff here, I skipped this cloud street here on the end of Ololokwe. Ololokwe is pretty big, by the way, 1,000, almost 1,900 meters. So I was afraid of a big thing behind. When you have good lift, you also have to decide what will happen afterwards. And from here, you see the road to Amba. Not many landings here in this area. You'll see also in the pictures. That's why I've chosen more northern line. I was pushing with crosswind, trying to catch this area. The better cumulus clouds were over Namunyak. And then another cloud street was going here, but some cumulus clouds were still here. This was the critical part here because I was flying downwind through kind of mountain pass, and it was a little bit of blue. But somewhere here, I managed to get my next climbs. And yeah, then I was following this terrain, very beautiful terrain, very nice terrain, very addictive terrain. Then I was reaching again this dirt road between Wamba and the other part of civilization. Somewhere here there was some big dust devils, close to a kilometer height. I took a more northern line, and this place, for example, I was planning for some takeoff explorations, and it worked. And somewhere here it worked again. Here the wind is speeding up because the terrain gets higher, and it's also getting later in the day. It was a little bit tricky with the stronger wind here, but then it was okay. I got to the cloud base again and connect to the road. And then I lost, let's say, concentration, made some mistakes, and I landed somewhere here. Some Buru people came. One guy gave me a lift with a motorbike, and then I went back with Matato back to my Varsha.
Did you have any moments where you had like very strong sync? You had to you had a low save, or was the day just booming?
Yeah, good question. Let me show you how the day looks like. And you'll see yourself. So this is Ololokwe.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Ololokwe from behind. You see the cumulus clouds, pretty decent cloud base. Like last time, 2 years ago when I flew it, it was lower the cloud base, but now it was quite decent. This is after Ololokwe direction. This is Namunyak. This looks like a road, but this is our power line, so this is not a landing option. You see here, there might be some spots for landing, but not so much. Again, this is the direction of the flight, the power lines, the Wamba road. Maybe somewhere here you can have some landings. Maybe somewhere here. When the winds are not strong, are okay, but if you fly in strong winds, you are not so precise with your landing, so the chances to throw your glider on a thorny acacia tree is pretty high. This is again Ololokwe from behind. I start from here, but you see no landings behind, just acacia trees, this carpet of bushes. This is the Wamba road going around the mountains, the power lines, some landable areas here. You see the vegetation gets a little bit more clear. And then this is the Wamba road. Again, not so dense carpet of bushes and trees. It gets more clear here, so it gets better. Here, after these hills, after these hills, I had sync. I had big sync because I was connecting with this cloud base. These clouds were disappearing here. But then I managed to connect to this cloud base and then pushed and connected to this one again. So there were not major issues with big sync. And again, I was catching everything. Normally, I filter a lot and I don't bother with working too weak lift like 1 meter or below. But on this flight, because I have no retreat, no nothing, no insurance, no helicopter, no GPS like spot or something, I was very, very cautious, working very slowly, catching everything, because I don't have an option for mistakes here. And then when you leave the roads, you see you have the dry river beds where you can land easily, but then of course you have a lot of waiting, and generally you see the conditions are pretty generous ahead of us. Good cumulus clouds. At some point, it became a little bit too cloudy in terms that it's difficult to decide which part of the cloud are working, which clouds are working. So you may make mistakes, not because of overcasting, but just waste searching by checking some clouds which are not so good. This is what it looks like when you look to the north. Very beautiful terrains.
Oh.
Nice terrains here. Here you see one Samburu kraal, like they're like the Maasai. So if you land somewhere here, maybe you can ask them for a shelter and you can sleep together with the cows. Again, beautiful terrain facing west, the dry riverbeds, some plateaus, some hills here. This is how it looks like to the north. Very nice, very addictive. And when you fly, when you stay cloud base, it's cool. But if you go down, it's hot. So your mind is getting blurred by the heat. So it's better to make your decisions where you go next when you're cool and high, because your thinking is better. And you're more relaxed, of course. Again, this is the terrain around. Very nice, interesting terrain. This is when I was approaching the Maralal Road. You see how the landscape is changing, vegetation is changing. Here also the cloud base was getting higher. And somewhere here behind this is the east side of Rift Valley. Baringo is somewhere in this area. I was seeing the blurring of Baringo, but then the clouds started changing their patterns, and I made some mistake and landed shortly behind the Maralal Road.
Does anybody have questions, by the way? Please feel free now to ask some questions.
Hi there, everyone.
Yeah.
Acacia here. I have one question. Since I travel quite a lot in that area, but only road trips, do you plan
Yeah.
ahead in terms of the contacts that you might know ahead of time? Like maybe if there are lodges or camps or I don't know, any tour people out there that you could have as emergency backups, like planned ahead of time with the flight plan that you might have, or do you just wing it?
I just do it like this. Lodges are too expensive for me to stay. I cannot afford to pay $100 per night or so. For lodges, so I just improvise. And, I don't have any contacts in this area. In my next trip, I would rely on our driver. Like we have a good driver on our trips here, James. So if something goes wrong, I would rely on our driver and the other pilots in the group.
Yeah, I think I didn't mean the accommodation, but I just meant in terms of like emergencies and planning for retrieve. So I guess you just have the driver and he's following.
It's not so complicated because you have only one road. And even if you land far from this road, you have to remember before you sink where was the road, what direction was the road, and to have some walking direction to have to know where you are. Even if you don't have reception, even if Google Map doesn't work, maybe it's good to have offline maps. Another thing I'm having is a spare power bank because you don't know how long you'll be. But you just remember the terrain and possible roads and escapes before you sink. And if you sink, you just walk in this direction and you improvise with the people you meet on the way.
Okay, thanks for that answer. And by the way, the photos just look incredible. Flying over that landscape must be a dream.
Yeah, it is. It's really beautiful, really addictive terrain. I'll show you later photos of the other place which we flew, Lysamis. It's also very nice there, and I wish to see you all there.
Nice. Do you think, like, in terms of your skill level, do you think intermediate pilots can fly this, like not the takeoff, but just the air that you were in? Do you think people who are getting into a cross country can fly this type of line you were flying, like following with you, or do you think you need to have a bit of an advance, like have flown in a competition or have done, I don't know how.
It will be just a little bit more expensive for them because it's more likely they to damage their wing if they land on some thorny tree. But generally, at the moment, it's still not good for intermediate pilots because takeoffs needs a little bit more clearing. If, for example, next year I plan a trip there again in second half of February, and I'm also keen to go there, for a little bit longer time, so we can dedicate one day for just clearing a takeoff. And then it will be open for lower level pilots. Of course, the issue of landing on the road to Moyale, it's still there. They still have to have a good landing skills. But once in the air is not so turbulent. And this season which we are choosing, it's not with the strongest January, February winds, so the winds are also not so bad. That's why I think in the air it's okay for intermediate pilots. The main concern are the takeoffs and the landings.
Mm-hmm. And then one other question I have is, you were talking about Wamba and you were talking about different towns. Did you know, like, do you have a moving map in your cockpit, or
No.
or you were just saying?
All these years, when I'm exploring here in Africa or wherever, I don't first I don't use much of instruments like maps and stuff like this because they consume too much battery. I need to be light and but what I do is I try to memorize what is the terrain and the roads ahead of me. I try to memorize what are the weather maps showing, the forecasts I'm doing, and it just 2-3 pictures you have to keep in your memory, which is enough when you fly to recognize different elements from these pictures, and it's not so difficult to orientate yourself once you remember the roads. Of course, when I'm doing, for example, Google Earth explorations and researches for different places, the reality is sometimes it's completely different. Like you think it's a grass, but it's a bush. You think it's a bush, but it's a tree. So the terrain can be pretty different than your image, the image you acquire from Google Earth. But still, in terms of roads and other things, it's kind of okay. No need of 2 special maps or something. Just study the map before you fly, and then just follow whatever you have.
Okay. So you had a general direction in which you wanted to fly. You wanted to fly west, and then you just kept that.
Kept
it going. Okay.
I knew that, for example, on this flight, after 100 kilometers, I'll have the Malawi road, which is my goal. And because it moves north-south, I knew that sooner or later, if I don't bomb out, I'll intersect it. So this is how I realized that it was a Malawi road.
Okay.
And then I was more relaxed. But the Wamba road, this was like, it's very simple to remember because it's the only road in the area.
Yeah.
It's not a labyrinth of roads. You just keep a glide close to the nearest road and then you pray.
Yeah. Can I ask you, Niki, a question?
Yeah.
You know, most of the XC flying or competition flying, you made a route. You schedule that you're going from point A to B, and then exactly based on Google Earth, you will see the places that would be okay to land, and you would make yourself a plan. You said you are not flying with different various, etc., or let's call it flight instruments. But what stops you from actually making a route and having it on your flight instrument so you keep safe options for yourself, and then you don't need to, like you said, pray in the end?
Yeah, it's too complicated. What I mean, the flight itself is full of so much unpredictability and so much improvisation. And also, as I said, from Google Earth, you cannot evaluate well landing places and routes. So I think it's too much preparation for too little result. Because you do generally, I don't plan point A, point B. I just plan a direction. I try to keep it simple and I improvise. And what differentiates me and you, for example, is that I don't care too much if I land into the middle of nowhere. I have to walk for 2 days. But if you're
Niki, you covered your microphone, I think.
sorry. What was the last you hear? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you said there were improvisation and
Yeah, okay.
And you didn't worry too much about where you were going to land.
Yeah. Generally, I don't have point A, point B. I just have a direction I fly, and I want to keep myself the full freedom to do improvisations. If I want to fly 30 degrees off or 45 degrees off from this direction, I will do. It's very difficult with Google Earth to make exact spots for landing. It's better just to rely on your eye judgment and just rely on your improvisation. What's the big difference between me and you is that I really don't care too much where I land, even if I have to walk for 2 days. But if you're freaking out too much about this idea of landing in nowhere, then this will castrate your flank, your decisions, your improvisations. You'll be too much freaked with staying close to the road that you lose the joy and the freedom of the flight. Yeah, is it clear?
Yes. Any other
Okay.
questions?
Yeah, North Kenya is for experienced people.
Sorry.
It's beautiful. Yeah, Paris, go on.
Sorry, I was just trying to find the unmute button on my phone. Just a quick question, Nikki. Thank you very much. This is a very interesting, very inspiring chat and wonderful photos. So thank you very much. I wondered whether you could maybe just give us a sort of very brief rundown of what you're thinking if you have to do low saves, and so you've drifted away from the road because you're exploring a different cloud street or something, and suddenly you're looking like you're coming down. And I'm always interested in that process of how do people fight their way back up, rather, for me, I kind of, once I'm below a certain altitude, I'm like, okay, I'm just fixated on landing now. I'm not thinking, how can I get back up? I'm just concentrating. But I mean, the really experienced pilots and people like yourself, it seems to me that they're fighting to get back, even when you're 10 meters above the ground. And very often they do
Yeah,
it. And I'm fascinated by this process, this mental process. It's a mental thing, isn't it?
yeah, it is. And it's also experience, especially gliding experience. You have to, with times, with years of flying, you have to develop the eye, which place you can reach by glide in the given conditions, in the given wind, plus some unexpected sink or something like this, and which places are not reachable. You're like a dog on a leash, which are allowed to search for thermals within the range of the leash. And then when you catch something, you look for the next possible landing. And again, you're limited next to this one. So a good eye judgment is essential for your decision making. And of course, you should also have the skills, like you can expand your landing possibilities by being skillful at landing on very tight spots. This means a good play with a stall, again, good judgments, good control of the glider. So all these tools are adding to the freedom to do low saves in hostile terrain, away from the roads. And again, you have to free your mind. There is a paradox in flying. Many people want to be pilots, want to fly paragliders because they think this will give them freedom. But actually, freedom is given for the one who are already free. What I mean is that if you're having some restrictions, like I must land next to the road, I must be home in the evening, and all these things, this limits your freedom, and you're not given freedom. So if you don't care to walk, if you don't care to damage your glider, if you don't care some not direct life-threatening risks, then you can really be free, and you'll be given more freedom.
Mm.
It's like a catch-22.
Mm. I saw a very nice abbreviation on someone's cap. An American guy was wearing it. It's F.L.Y, so fly. And it said underneath, okay, I can't even say it, effing liberate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you, so you basically just clear your mind and you basically you're just there in the moment. You don't and together with your experience.
Yeah, I go there for the adventure. Sometimes a 10-kilometer flight can end up in some meeting interesting people, in passing through interesting terrains, maybe wildlife or camping somewhere. So if you just go for the adventure, you're open for all kinds of possibilities. Then the flight, the distances, the kilometers, these things doesn't matter. Like people want to measure very much themselves on X contest and other things. But if you go for the adventure, you're ready for everything.
Niki, there is a concept of flying. One is obviously hike and fly, but another one is vol-B, where you fly with your little tent and some equipment. It sounds like the way you were flying in North Kenya could be something interesting for that type of a concept, where you could have with you your little tent and just a little bit of equipment.
Yeah.
What is your thought about it?
In Bulgaria, we have very good terrains for bee flying because the mountains are naked on top, so you can top land and sleep there. From these bivouac flights, I realized that there is no need of tent because you can use the paraglider. It's pretty warm, so you can use the paraglider as a blanket. Maybe you need some mosquito net. I think I was having one which covers just the face, but even in this terrain, you don't need this because it's all dry. I don't think there'll be some mosquitoes. So I'm ready for vol-beef. Again, maybe if I have to sleep somewhere, maybe I'll sleep on a tree to be above the hyena range. It's like a veau beef, but kind of more in a more improvised way, without preparing so much with heavy equipment, because you really need to be light. Like if you have to hike for 30 kilometers or something, you need to be light. You cannot just start throwing your equipment. And Kenya is warm, so you don't need sleeping bag, you don't need tent. You can just be with your glider and your harness.
Oh, I have then one question. What equipment do you choose your equipment, or do you have like some lightweight equipment, or is it just a normal weight like a bag? Do you have a special bag or special wing or special harness?
No.
What do you fly with?
Okay, the wing I'm flying is Zeolite 2.
Okay.
I'm very happy with this wing because it gives me a lot of comfort, a lot of stress even in turbulent conditions. The glide is decent, the performance is decent. But even on my previous trips, I was flying whatever I was given, whatever I can find cheap. So I don't, of course, if I have the resources, I would buy lightweight harness, lightweight rescue, lightweight. The Zeolite is lightweight. But generally, I try to have a good glider, trusty glider, and I'm strong enough to carry 15, maybe 20 kilograms of equipment. So I don't try to save too much from weight, but of course you can do it. By the way, many people are switching to this lightweight equipment now, but for North Kenya, it's very easy to damage it, to tear your harness, to damage your equipment. Even the rucksacks are made now from very thin materials, not like what we had before, the cordura, the strong fabric. So when you walk through the bush, you damage your glider, your back just on the way to the takeoff. So it's better to have some sturdy equipment with you. Not so much light. You will be sweating if it's heavy, but it's better the equipment to be sturdy, to be hard.
Okay. George, you wanted to say something?
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. One is to thank Niki for this very informative session and
Welcome.
sharing the experience. I remember your endeavor on pre-flight check when my son was having a tandem flight 4 years ago with Kibet, and I really learned a lot as a new pilot. I would like to know, as you endeavor to take this flight towards north, I was interested to know some of the risk measures that you take. One, I know North Kenya is known for cattle rustlers and bandits. So I assume that maybe there could be some pursuit by the livestock department, and maybe they may confuse you to be amongst the group pursuing them, and then they start maybe shooting from the ground. I would like to know how is your take on that. The next one is that you indicated that your adventure when flying, you normally go far from the road, and I know North Kenya is infested with very poisonous snakes. Huh? I don't know whether you carry with you some of the antivenoms, just in case. The other one is once maybe you ride in a homestead with a Borana or Sabur communities, and they don't know maybe how to communicate. So how do you handle such issues?
Yeah. Okay, so let's start one by one. First, about the banditry and the cattle rustling. The first trip we made in Kenya, we did it again in February, but there were some rains. It was a little bit of green, so there was not such a struggle for grassland and for water. That's why you're checking and researching the season and what's going on. When we landed in Gurunit, we wanted to continue after Gurunit towards Baragoy, but then we were warned that some politician was killed in Baragoy, some banditry was happening in Baragoy, and that's why we stopped with the trip. We stopped continuing further on. Generally, this particular flight from Ololokwe to south of Maralao is not an issue because I fly entirely in Samburu land. The problems are at the borders of the tribes, the Pokot, the Turkana, and the Samburu. So if you're on the border area, you can have problems. That's why you're checking, asking, and all these things. The good thing of paragliding is the unpredictability. Even in Ethiopia, where they're having these conflicts, or in Kenya, usually the bad people need to be prepared to harm on you. But if you just come in a blue day out of nowhere and you move quickly in some other direction, they are a little bit surprised. They don't know who you are. Are there someone following you? Is there someone else with you? Maybe some government or whatever. So usually the unpredictability of paragliding protects you from problems in general. I never had major issues. Like maybe once in Ethiopia, I landed next to a military camp, and from all directions people were coming with Kalashnikov pointing at me. I was very scared then. And they were even speaking later. I showed them some papers and permissions, but they were speaking later that they were even thinking shooting at me when I'm in the air, when I was doing my landing approach. So the risks are there. But generally, I try to avoid them. One flight or groups of flights which I'd like to try again is from Laisamis to Gurunit, and then maybe from Gurunit to fly direction to Iten. But the most difficult part will be, let's say, Baragoy area, where we have the border between the Samburu and the Turkana, and then after the Pokot area. So I'll just make my decisions early enough to try to avoid these things. Maybe checking the security first, but yeah, the risks are there. If you fly inside one tribe, it's safe. This is the first question. The second question was about the snakes?
Yes.
So all these years I explore Africa, I've never saw a snake. Only one time I saw one very little snake. Like in populated areas, people, the farmers, they're like in Bulgaria, in the villages in the past, when they see a snake, they kill it. And now Bulgaria is depopulated, like population is decreasing, and I was thinking that the snakes will return, it will become risky and dangerous, but in fact, the nature is self-controlling things. They are snakes, but they're also bird killing and eating these snakes. So if you make noise when you walk, if you don't sneak there, usually you're letting all these animals to move away. They will be aggressive only if you corner them somewhere. Then you may have a problem. Of course, you should have long sleeves, good boots, if you have an encounter. But I never had a problems with this. I also think it's not possible to carry, or no sense to carry anti-venom, because first, you don't know what type of snake may bite you, and there are different anti-venoms for different types of snakes. Second, from what I know, these anti-venoms should be maybe kept in some cool bag. I don't have such a refrigerating bag with me. It's too bulky to carry. And also, there are some complications, like in Bulgaria, we have poisonous snakes, but they say this antivenom should be given in hospitals because there might be some side effects or some complications from them. So it's too difficult to organize. I cannot organize it. The risks are there. But I just try to be noisy when I hike through bush, to give time to wild animals to move away and not attack me. Regarding the people, like if I land with Samburu or Borano or someone who doesn't speak English, I think English is pretty spread, and there might be someone who went to school and who knows some basic English. So Kenya is one of the best countries in Africa in terms of communication with local people. But even if you don't, if they don't, you just your body language. And I remember first time I was coming to Ethiopia, I came here because of the mountains, and I didn't care about the people. For me, it was just mountains flying, and that's it. But all these years with the interactions of the people, I started loving the people here, the local people. And somehow they can read this love in my eyes and they don't harm me. It's like a mutual respect, appreciation. Isaac was very good at teaching me how to appreciate the local people, a little bit of tipping here, a little bit of tipping there. So it's big part of the adventure. Even sometimes these interactions with the people are more beautiful than the flight itself. So I think I'll improvise. You can make gestures if you want water or shelter or something like this. If you're good intended, if people are good intended, find way to have shelter or to get what you want. If the people are bad or if you're bad, then doesn't matter how perfect is your English, the problem will come. So just laugh. Laugh is the answer.
Thank you. That is great, and I'm satisfied with the answers. And I wish you well, and hoping that you can also break the paraglider record. We saw hang glider record being set in Kerio, so I believe you can also get some tips and also break the world record. We really appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm not interested in records. I'm interested in adventures, and Kenya is a good place for this type of thing.
It's ideal. You can coach.
Yeah. For me, it's the knowledge. I'm interested in the knowledge. Like, in science, there is no experiment with negative outcome. Because if knowledge is the main thing, then you're always benefit. You're always on plus. Doesn't matter if you bomb out after 10 kilometers or if you make a 100-kilometer flight. So
great.
Numbers are not so important for me.
I appreciate. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Niki. There was something with Acacia. You wanted to show some photos or some impressions to wrap up this webinar. Was there?
I can show you one slideshow as an end. One slideshow from the Laisamis flight from North Kenya last 2 years ago. If you want to see it, I don't know how good is the quality of the video when I share the screen. Is it good?
Yeah. You can see the beautiful photos. Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Let me show you this. This is the North Kenya exploration from 2 years ago. Where is the sound? Yeah, but it's not showing the sound anyway. Just see the photos. So you see the cloud base was lower. It was not good for such a flight like this year. But you see no landings here. Like it's really a carpet of thorny stuff. Maybe dry river beds here, but beautiful clouds. In this case, again, Ololokwe. I flew upwind, maybe 20 kilometers upwind north of Ololokwe.
I have a question. If you can just press pause.
Yeah.
You were this year you were posting some photos of your flight. I think it was from Kijabe Hill, and you were sometimes at cloud base and sometimes you were above cloud base. So you kind of like gone through the inversion or through base. And I've just seen that with these pictures. Do you sometimes fly in blue sky next to the clouds, or do you shift from underneath the cloud? You kind of like you surf basically.
When I started paragliding, I was flying sometimes in clouds if I want to make a long transition. But for many years, I avoid to do this because it makes the glider wet, it damages, it makes the glider old, it reduces the porosity of the glider. So cloud flying is not so good. I avoid it. Here, what you're seeing is just a perspective. I'm not flying above the clouds. But what I had in Kijabe, there was a convergence. There were some dry thermals, which I'm being higher than the wet thermals coming from Rift Valley. And this was a specific weather case where I was flying next to the cloud, even above some clouds, simply because I was catching drier thermals there.
Okay.
But it's not the case here. Here, this can happen when you have a big step of the terrain, like in Kijabe with Rift Valley here. More or less, the terrain is the same height, even with the mountains. So you don't have much opportunities to be above clouds unless you fly inside the clouds.
Okay.
Yeah, again, Ololokwe, this was with Yasen. There was a thunderstorm even in February, so kind of end of February is the last time. The beautiful rocks of Ololokwe. Here with Yasen, you see the road is the only landing place, the Samburu boys. Here, then we travel to Laisamis. You see, it gets more like a desert there, more drier. And then the hiking in the heat of Laisamis. It was tough here. Behind the mountain, there are some landings, but on the upwind side, but still it's not that bad. Like you can put your wingtip on some thorny tree, but generally it's okay. You won't get hurt much. And very beautiful terrain behind, very beautiful rocks behind. We're still on the first hill here. Again, there is only one road in the area, which you just try to keep 1-2 glides away from it. If you bomb out, you try to save next to the road, some birds. Yeah, and this was not very long flight, like maybe 60 kilometers, but very pretty mountains. This like emerging from nowhere, like boulders, some dry river beds, a little bit of greenery, as you can see. Similar, because I often travel, when I come from Ethiopia, I travel the Moyale Road, and I'm watching the landscape around. In some areas where you see these black zones, I see it a lot before Marsabit. You can enter some field of volcanic rock, which is like stones, but there you have to walk very slow on them. So you can be cold some small distance, you can walk it for hours. Because simply the terrain is too stony, like stones maybe 50 centimeters, but you cannot walk normally there. You have to walk carefully because it's like some type of volcanic field, rocky field, stony field. So in some terrains you might be cold and you may think, okay, I can walk 40 kilometers per day, but in reality it can be much less. So you have to still be careful. Some terrains, maybe some bushy terrains or some rivers or something like this can stop you. You can see this in Gurunit. Because in Gurunit, the mountains next to Gurunit are facing east. With the easterly wind, they make a magic lift. So when we arrive here in the afternoon, this is Poi, Mountain Poi, popular mountain in the area. When you arrive there, there was this beautiful magic lift and we were floating everywhere, just enjoying the mountains around. You can see the impressive landscape there. And no need a helicopter. You can hike here, you can take off from some other place. So it's really a generous area for flying. Again, Gurunit, again, not so many landings. You see, all this is full of trees, but maybe the riverbed. Next to Gurunit village, there are some clearances, but not so big. But generally, very, very pretty landscape. Next year, hopefully, we'll try to fly there again. You see mountains in one direction, in another direction, rising up vertically. But again, not so many landings even here. It's difficult to make a proper landing approach. Only the river bed is kind of okay. Yeah, you see, this is good for landing. The river bed. Maybe this field here is fine. You see the village with the houses. And this is the hotel where we slept. The last one. This one here. So this is the adventure.
Oh, gosh, Niki, that's a great closure for this webinar. I thank you very much for sharing your Northern Kenya adventure with us, and also giving us some insights of how you do it. And I hope maybe you can next year design something or get a group of local pilots together, and maybe do a long flight, or maybe plan something that we can do together. Maybe fly in a group or something. That would be nice.
But even this year, I was writing in the WhatsApp group about the coming, but Hunter was busy, Sean was busy, so I couldn't gather a group. But maybe if I allow it earlier in advance, maybe people can prepare. And again, maybe some clearing of takeoff, even if you don't make big flights. The idea is just to open the place, open it for flight, because this low population makes a lot of freedom for paragliding. In other places, you have to bother about airspace and this or that, but in North Kenya, you can have the proper freedom and adventure. So I will be happy. Again, the second half of February is the time when I can do it, and also weather is good. If you prepare earlier your free time, I'll be happy to go a bigger group of local pilots and just explore the place.
Okay, very nice. Any more questions? Okay, Niki.
When they come, yeah. Well, if there are more questions, you can find me on WhatsApp as well.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Niki. Thank you for your time, and yeah, hope to see you soon then. And thank you for everybody for
Thank you.
joining.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you again.
Thanks, Niki. See you in Sopot.
Yeah, see you in Sopot. Yeah.
All right.
Ciao, ciao.
Okay. All the best. All the best.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.